My child, stop right now wherever you are. Do not scroll past this sacred encounter. Heaven has set an invisible clock for this exact second. You did not arrive here by accident, and my spirit drew you into this quiet space today because your weary soul needed a sacred moment to breathe in my presence. You are here for a reason. I see the heavy burden you carry. You wear your smile like armor. You try to keep everyone else comfortable while you are quietly breaking down inside. And every single night when the room grows quiet, the heaviness settles back onto your chest while you wonder how much longer you can keep pushing forward alone. You ask yourself if anyone understands your pain. I understand your pain because I created you. I watched you during those lonely midnight hours. Sleep refused to come to your eyes. I heard every silent cry you whispered into your pillow when you thought nobody was listening in the dark. And even when you felt completely isolated, my presence was hovering right beside you because you were never forgotten for a single moment. You looked at the silence of heaven and felt the sharp sting of abandonment. You prayed for answers month after month. You asked for a sing from above. And because the doors remained locked right when you needed them to open, you began to believe that I turned my back on your family. You felt like your faith had completely failed. Hear me clearly today, my beloved one. That thought is a lie. It was designed to steal your hope. My silence was never your punishment or my rejection, and what felt like a painful delay was actually my sovereign hand holding you back from a dangerous path that would have broken your spirit. I was protecting what you carry inside. I did not leave you in the wilderness to die. I brought you here to prepare you. Consider how a father watches his gold inside a hot furnace. He stays silent because he is leaning in close to observe the precious metal, and he watches the intense fire burn away every impurity until he can see his own image clearly reflected on the surface. You thought you were being shattered into pieces. You felt weak and exhausted. The pain pressed down heavily. In reality, you were being broken open so that the deep wisdom I planted in you could finally overflow into the world. The fire was never sent to consume your future. You passed the hardest test you did not even know you were taking. You went through days that felt endless. You kept moving forward with trembling hands while tears ran down your face in secret. You could have chosen to become bitter and walk into darkness, but your heart stayed faithful despite the deep ache you carried because you trusted in my love. That was holy endurance, standing unbroken. The season of waiting is ending now. Heaven is making a declaration today. The invisible clock has reached its appointed time, and what was held back in secret is about to be released in full measure because you are standing on the threshold of your breakthrough. The weight is behind you. Do not walk away now. The seal over your provision is cracking open. The heavy fog in your mind is lifting today. Your spirit is waking up. And what the enemy designed to bury you in the dark will become the exact foundation that launches you into your true destiny. You are not a victim surviving a terrible storm. You are a royal heir to my kingdom. I am stepping into your path right now. I am resetting your entire trajectory today. I am restoring what was stolen from you during those long years of lack. The doors that locked tightly were holding back a harvest that you were not yet ready to manage, but now your foundation is firm and secure. You are ready for your reward. Lower your defenses right now. Take a deep breath in this quiet space. Let the heavy weight leave your shoulders completely. You do not have to fight this battle using your own exhausted strength anymore, because I have taken full command of your situation today. The long winter of your soul is turning into spring. Peace is coming to your home. Do not treat this encounter as an ordinary moment. Heaven does not call a meeting without a divine purpose. Every word spoken here carries a spiritual weight, and the invisible chains of worry that kept you awake at night are loosening right now because my presence is filling your room. You can feel the shift happening inside your spirit. I see the tears you hid from the world. I know how hard you tried to stay strong when everything around you seemed to fall apart. But hear my voice above the noise of your day. The long period of refining was necessary to protect the magnitude of the blessing that is coming to your life. Your patience was not wasted in the silence. Stay close to me during these next few minutes. Open your mind to divine revelation. Keep this message close to your heart. And what I am unveiling today will settle your soul in a quiet confidence that no worldly storm can ever take away from you again. The heavy silence is over. Your turnaround starts right here. Come closer, my beloved child, and let me open the hidden chambers of your heart that you keep locked from the world. You know the exact hours I am talking about. The house grows completely still. The lights turn off one by one. And while everyone else drifts into peaceful sleep around you, your eyes remain wide open as your mind turns over every fear, every unpaid bill, and every unresolved question that keeps pressing against your chest. You lie in the dark and wonder where you made a wrong turn. You try to gather your thoughts into a meaningful prayer. The words feel heavy. They seem to stall in your throat because your spirit is too exhausted to assemble another petition. You feel like you are shouting into an empty void where no voice answers back, and that quiet silence hurts far more than any harsh word ever could. Then the morning sun rises and you put on your smile like a heavy suit of armor. You step into the light. You adjust your posture. You make sure everyone else feels safe and comfortable around you, while your own heart is quietly draining of all strength. You listen to their problems with patience. You offer them words of encouragement that you secretly wish someone would speak over your own weary life. You have become the designated strong one for your entire family. They lean on your strength constantly. They expect you to fix every crisis. And because you always find a way to make things work out, they assume that you never get tired or feel overwhelmed by the heavy weight you carry. They see your resilience, but they miss the quiet sacrifice that it costs you every single day. There were days when you felt like dropping everything and walking away. The pressure was intense. The loneliness felt suffocating. And every time you built up enough courage to believe for a financial breakthrough or a restored relationship, another unexpected disappointment knocked you down before you could even celebrate a small victory. You felt trapped in an endless loop of struggling just to survive. You looked at your life and asked if heaven had turned cold toward you. You wondered if you had committed some hidden fault that caused my favor to withdraw from your home. Hear my truth today, my precious child. That lingering sense of condemnation did not originate from my throne. It was a counterfeit lie planted in your mind by the adversary to make you feel completely unworthy of my love. I watched you during those midnight hours when you cried alone. I saw every tear that soaked your pillow in the dark. Not a single drop fell to the floor without my notice, because every tear you shed out of love and sorrow was gathered like a holy treasure in my presence. I was sitting on the edge of your bed while you wept, wrapping my invisible arms around your trembling shoulders. You thought my silence meant that I was absent or indifferent to your suffering, but my silence was actually the deep, focused attention of a loving father watching his gold inside the hot furnace. I was standing close to you during every trial. I was regulating the heat so that the fire would refine your spirit without consuming your purpose, and I kept my hand on your life every step of the way. The world evaluated your progress by your visible achievements and material success. They did not see the quiet battles you fought in secret, but I saw how you chose mercy when you had every reason to feel bitter. I saw how you kept giving to others when your own cup was completely empty, and heaven kept a faithful record of every sacrifice you made when no human eyes were watching. You passed through trials that would have broken a weaker foundation. You carried burdens that were never meant for human shoulders alone. And even when your faith wobbled under the crushing weight of prolonged waiting, something deep inside your spirit refused to let go of my promise. You kept standing when everything around you urged you to give up and surrender to despair. You do not need to wear that smile like armor in my presence today. You can drop the heavy mask right now. You do not have to pretend to be strong or hide your deep fatigue from me anymore, because my strength is made perfect in the exact places where you feel most helpless. I am here to lift what you were never designed to carry by yourself. Breathe in my peace in this very moment. Release the tight knot in your stomach. Let your weary shoulders sink down. The long chapter of carrying your family and your future through sheer willpower is ending today. I am taking full control of the heavy load that drained your spirit, and I am replacing your deep fatigue with an unshakable confidence that will carry you forward into your season of rest. Now, hear me carefully, my child, because I want you to understand why this moment was scheduled in eternity. You interpreted my silence through the lens of human rejection. When humans grow quiet, they pull away in anger or indifference. And because you experienced abandonment from people you trusted in the past, you assumed that my quietness meant I had closed my heart against your prayers. Human silence is often cold and distant. Divine silence is completely different. When heaven grows quiet, it is not a sign of absence or frustration. And while your mind was racing with anxious thoughts during those long months, my silence was actually the quiet confidence of a father who knows the glorious outcome of your trial. I was not ignoring your cries for help. Consider the ancient refiner who places raw gold inside the burning furnace. The heat rises to an intense level. The metal begins to melt and turn liquid in the heat. The refiner does not shout at the gold while it sits inside the flames. He does not offer a long speech while the fire does its essential work of purifying the metal from deep impurities. Instead, the refiner stands right beside the furnace in absolute stillness. He leans in close to the heat. He keeps his eyes fixed on the surface of the molten gold. And he watches patiently while every piece of hidden dross floats up to the top, because he knows that speaking too soon will not speed up the essential process of refining your spirit. The refiner stays silent until he sees his own face clearly reflected on the surface of the gold. Only then does he pull the metal out of the intense fire. My beloved child, you are that gold. I was leaning over your life during every hot trial, watching every layer of fear and self-reliance burn away until my character could shine through you. When gold is purified, the master does not need to speak words of encouragement to the metal. The heat does the work. The transformation happens below the surface where no human eye can measure it. And while you were feeling completely stagnant and forgotten in your quiet room, my power was quietly rewriting your internal spiritual DNA so you could carry royal authority. Stop asking why the furnace was so hot for so long. Start looking at what was being forged inside your spirit while you waited. You thought you were being destroyed by the heat, but you were actually being strengthened to hold a massive blessing that would have crushed your former self. You were being prepared for a permanent elevation that requires deep roots. Think of David when he was hiding inside the dark cave of Adullam. He was anointed to be king, yet he spent years running from his enemy in loneliness and silence. He asked how long he would have to hide in the shadow of death. And yet every silent day in that dark cave was forging the resilience and wisdom he needed to rule a great nation with authority. Your silent season was not a waste of time. It was a holy incubator for your destiny. I kept quiet because I trusted what I planted deep inside your soul. A father does not hover nervously over a child who is executing a task correctly, but rather sits back in quiet joy as he watches his child master the lesson and step into true maturity. You wondered if my promises were meant for everyone else except you. You saw others receiving their answers while you stood in place. Inscribe these words in the comments right now. I accept this preparation for my breakthrough and feel my peace settle over your heart. This simple declaration seals your willingness to trust my timing over your own timeline. What you called a delay, heaven called essential preparation. What you felt as a crushing loss was actually room being made for something far greater to enter your life. And every time you chose to stay faithful in the quiet darkness, your roots grew deeper into my love until you became completely unshakable. You survived the fire because I kept you safe. Silence is the womb of creation before light bursts forth into existence. Before a magnificent seed sprouts above the ground, it spends days in the dark earth where nothing visible seems to happen. The seed breaks apart in silence. The roots push down through the hard soil in quiet persistence. And then, at the appointed moment, the green shoot breaks through into the sunlight. Now you see clearly that my silence was never my abandonment. You can release the anger and confusion you held against heaven for so long. But fixing your view of the fire is only half the battle, because we must now address the exact reason why your doors were locked tight right when you were ready to walk through them. You looked at the doors that slammed shut right in front of your face. You had prepared yourself for months. You had gathered your courage to step through into a new season of financial security and freedom. And yet, right when you reached out your hand to turn the handle, the door was suddenly locked tight and every opportunity seemed to vanish into thin air. You felt a surge of panic and deep frustration inside your spirit. You asked yourself why heaven permitted such a painful rejection to stop your forward movement. You wondered if the adversary had gained complete victory over your life. But hear my voice today, my precious child, because those locked doors were never a sign of your defeat. A locked door is often my most loving line of defense. You wanted to walk through immediately. You thought you were ready for the blessing. And yet, if I had opened those doors before your character was fully refined, the crushing weight of sudden success would have destroyed your soul. I closed those doors to keep you safe from unseen collapse. You saw a golden opportunity that looked promising on the surface. I saw a hollow structure that was built on sandy ground. And because I love you too much to let you build your future on a lie, I stepped in front of your path and turned the key in the lock. You thought the wilderness was a place of punishment where dreams go to die. You looked around at the dry sand. You saw no visible fruit on the barren trees. And while you watched other people walk effortlessly into green pastures, you felt like you were left behind in a lonely place where nothing good could grow. Hear my truth in this sacred hour. You are not falling behind. You are being built into something that has never existed before. And the wilderness was not sent to strip away your joy, but rather to strip away the counterfeit dependencies that were keeping you tied to a low level of spiritual authority. You felt like you were being completely broken down in that dry wilderness. The heat was rising every day. The isolation felt heavy on your soul. And while you looked at the shattered fragments of your former plans, you wondered how anything beautiful could ever rise out of such deep sorrow. You were not being broken down in that painful season. You were being broken open. Consider the alabaster jar filled with precious oil that the woman brought to my feet in ancient times. As long as the stone jar remained sealed and intact, the sweet fragrance stayed trapped inside where no one could ever smell its beauty. The stone jar had to be broken open. The seal had to be cracked. Only then could the costly ointment pour out. And the rich fragrance that was trapped inside finally filled the entire room because the outer shell yielded to the purpose of the master. The jar was not destroyed in a fit of anger. It was lovingly broken so that the treasure inside could fulfill its true purpose. You are that precious alabaster vessel in my hands today. And the crushing you experienced in the wilderness was not your demise, but rather the deliberate breaking of your outer shell to release my glory. Your self-reliance had to be cracked wide open. Your need for human approval had to fade away. The fear of lack had to lose its power over your mind. And because you endured the fire without walking into bitterness, the deep spiritual anointing I placed inside you is finally spilling over into the world. If you had never walked through the wilderness, you would have remained a sealed vessel. Your true potential would have stayed forever hidden inside. The pain was necessary to release the power. And the deep loneliness was required to make you rely completely on my voice, because a vessel that is never broken open can never be used to heal a hurting world. Take a deep breath right now in this sacred quiet space. Feel the heavy tension leaving your chest. Say these words in the quiet of your heart. I am broken open for divine glory. And as you speak those words with faith, let my peace settle deep into your spirit while you leave the closed doors behind you forever. The wilderness was never designed to be your permanent burial ground. It was your private training field. You learned how to find water in dry places. You learned how to stand firm when cold night winds blew across your path, and you proved that your faith does not depend on easy circumstances. Every dry day prepared you for the overflow that is coming. A broken jar creates capacity for fresh oil. The oil of joy is replacing your mourning today. And the garment of praise is lifting the heavy burden that sat on your shoulders while my peace wraps around your heart. Now you understand why the wilderness was essential for your transformation. You see my protective hand in every delay. You know that you are ready for your breakthrough. But there is another secret I must unveil before this hour concludes. Because when you see why doors closed, you will finally understand why certain people had to walk away from your life. Some of the people I allowed to step away from your life were never meant to travel into your next chapter. You wept when they turned their backs on you in your darkest hour. You wondered what you did wrong to deserve their sudden coldness. But I need you to see that their departure was not your failure. It was my active hand pruning your branches so you could bear fruit that lasts. You tried so hard to keep those relationships alive. You compromised your own peace just to make them stay. You begged for their understanding while they treated your loyalty as something cheap. And every time you lowered your boundaries to accommodate their demands, you felt a little more of your true identity slipping away in the dark. You felt completely drained by their presence. The enemy fed your mind with counterfeit labels while you were bleeding in secret. He whispered that you are a broken survivor who will always be lonely. He called you a failure who missed every golden opportunity. I dismantle those counterfeit labels right now with the authority of my voice. You are not a helpless victim surviving a terrible storm, but rather a royal heir to the kingdom of heaven. Listen to me clearly today, my beloved child. I chose you before the foundations of the world were laid. I set you apart for a sacred purpose that no human opinion can ever dismantle. And the fierce resistance you faced in your last season was not proof of your weakness, but rather proof that the adversary was terrified of the spiritual authority you carry inside your spirit. Consider how a careful gardener approaches a fruitful vine in the early spring. He does not cut away branches because he hates the plant. He cuts away healthy-looking branches because they are consuming valuable nutrients that belong to the main stem. And if the gardener refuses to prune the vine at the right time, the fruit will remain small and weak despite all his effort. Pruning always feels like a painful reduction when it is happening to your life. The shears cut deep into the wood. The plant bleeds sap onto the ground. You look at the fallen branches lying in the dirt, and you feel like you are losing everything you worked so hard to build. But the master gardener knows that every cut is increasing your capacity for a massive harvest. The people who walked away from your life could only handle the smaller version of you. They were comfortable with your struggle because your pain made them feel secure in themselves. But where I am taking you requires a completely different kind of company. The smallness of their vision could never hold the magnitude of the harvest I am unlocking over your lineage today. I removed those individuals because their quiet envy would have poisoned your future. They loved you while you were down in the valley, but they could not celebrate your elevation onto the mountain. I saw the hidden resentment growing inside their hearts before it turned into open sabotage, and I closed the door of fellowship to protect the sacred assignment on your life. You felt deep betrayal when those you trusted most used your private vulnerabilities against you. Their words left a lingering wound in your soul. You tried to fix what was broken between you, but I hardened their hearts to force you to let go, because staying in that toxic atmosphere would have destroyed the gentle spirit I placed inside you before time began. Release the bitterness you have held against those who walked away. Forgive them today because they were merely actors in a larger divine plan to isolate you for your own protection. They thought they were rejecting you, but I was actually redirecting you into a place of safety. You can let them go now without holding any anger or malice in your heart. Stop measuring your worth by the absence of those who left your side. Start looking at the open space I have cleared around your life today. I am establishing a new foundation of divine connections that will honor what you carry. You will no longer have to beg for love or fight for acceptance, because my favor will attract people who appreciate your true value. Rinse your face from the tears of yesterday. Step out of the shadow of past betrayals. You walk in royal dignity today. Your head is lifted high above every ancient shame that tried to keep you bound to your past failures. You are my chosen vessel, my anointed warrior, and a living proof of my restoring grace that turns brokenness into unyielding strength. You are no longer bound by the fears or limitations of your former identity. The heavy chains of self-doubt have fallen off completely in my presence. Speak with a firm voice into the quiet atmosphere right now. I am free from what held me back. Hold your breath, my child, for the spiritual atmosphere over your life is shattering right now, and the seals of lack are cracking open. Lift up your head right now, my child, for the shift you have prayed for in secret is no longer on the horizon. It is happening in this exact instant. I step onto the battleground of your life with unyielding authority. The long season of holding back is officially over. Every legal right that the adversary claimed over your joy, your peace, and your family line is revoked and dismantled by the word of my power today. I decree over your life right now that the invisible walls of delay are crumbling into dust before your eyes. The enemy fought you so fiercely in this last season not because you were weak, but because he saw the magnitude of the breakthrough standing directly at your door. He tried to exhaust your spirit so you would walk away right before the harvest, but his time of authority in your life is over. Hear the sound of heaven breaking the 3 heavy seals that held your destiny captive in the dark. I address the first seal today, the seal of financial tightness and perpetual lack. Every ancient curse of debt, every cycle of earning money only to watch it vanish into unexpected emergencies, and every spirit of poverty that plagued your lineage is shattered right now. I unseal the hidden reservoirs of heaven over your home. I command provision to flow toward you from expected and unexpected directions. The doors of opportunity that were locked shut are swinging wide open on their hinges. You will no longer have to toil endlessly just to scrape by, because my blessing is releasing an abundance that will overflow to every member of your family. I address the second seal today, the seal of mental exhaustion, dark anxiety, and sleepless nights. Every heavy cloud of confusion that sat on your mind is dissolved by the light of my presence right now. The lingering spirit of grief that made your chest feel tight and your breathing shallow is commanded to leave your spirit permanently. I break the power of overthinking that kept you trapped in fear. Receive a fresh outpouring of divine peace into your mind this very second. Your thoughts are quieted, your heart rate is settling into a calm rhythm. I am placing a crown of beauty upon your head in place of the ashes you carried, and I am wrapping you in a mantle of praise that drives away every dark shadow of depression. You will sleep in deep, undisturbed peace tonight because I am watching over your home. I address the third seal today, the seal of relational brokenness and isolation. Every rift caused by misunderstanding, every spirit of division sent to destroy your family, and every lingering scar from past betrayals is healed by my touch right now. I am restoring what was broken in your home, bringing divine unity where there was strife, and drawing genuine, faithful souls into your circle. What was held back in secret is now released in full measure into your hands. The long winter of waiting is turning into an explosive spring of restoration. I am restoring to you the lost years that the locusts ate. I am giving you back your joy, your strength, your confidence, and your passion to dream big dreams again without the paralyzing fear of failure or disappointment holding you back. Speak it with absolute authority into the atmosphere right now. I receive my complete breakthrough. Proclaim it until your soul feels the weight of its truth. You are not begging for mercy today. You are claiming the royal inheritance that was purchased for you before the foundations of the world. The shift is permanent, the victory is secure, and no power on earth can reverse what heaven has declared. The adversary thought he had buried you in the wilderness, but he did not realize you were a seed destined to rise. Look at your hands right now. They are no longer empty. The key to your breakthrough is placed directly into your grasp, and the doors of favor, health, and financial freedom are unlocked for you and your children after you. You are stepping into the open country of my grace. Feel the heavy weight completely leaving your shoulders right now. The pressure that pressed against your spirit for months is gone. What was impossible with human effort has been accomplished in a single moment of divine intervention. You are no longer defined by the struggles of your past, but by the glory of the chapter that is opening before you right now. Every closed door was a setup for this open heaven. Every silent night was preparation for this song of victory. Stand tall in your royal identity. Walk forward with your head lifted high, for the God of the universe has spoken over your life, and the season of your great breakthrough has officially begun. My child, a clenched fist holds on to fear, but a royal heir walks with an open hand. Look at how you lived your life during those long years of financial pressure. You held tightly to every small resource because fear whispered that there would never be enough for tomorrow. You tried to protect yourself by hoarding what little you had in your hands. A closed fist is a sign of survival mode. It speaks of a heart that believes heaven has run out of supply. And whenever you keep your hand tightly closed in fear, you prevent the adversary from taking what is inside, but you also block heaven from placing new blessings into your palm. You remain trapped in a small cycle of lack. I am calling you to step out of survival mode today. I am teaching you the holy law of the open hand. When a royal heir opens their hand in obedience, they are not losing a portion of their supply. They are releasing an anchor of faith into the harvest field that I have prepared for their lineage. They are choosing trust over fear. Consider how a simple seed works in nature. As long as a farmer keeps the small seed locked inside a dark jar, it remains safe and protected from the elements. It stays small, it produces no fruit. But when the farmer willingly releases that seed into the rich soil, the outer shell dies so that a massive harvest can spring forth into the light. Many believers pray for a harvest without ever planting anything into the ground. They wait at the edge of the field and ask why the soil remains bare. But heaven operates on divine order. And when you willingly release your seed into holy ground, you activate a spiritual law that causes the soil of your circumstances to yield its hidden wealth to you. Your faith requires an action to seal what has been declared over your life today. A spoken word creates an alignment, but a sacrificial action releases the power that transforms your financial reality. I do not ask for a seed because I need your resources, for the gold and silver of the entire earth already belong to my throne. I ask for a seed because I desire your complete trust. I want to free your heart from the grip of financial anxiety forever. When you place a seed of faith upon the altar of this calling today, you are declaring to the spiritual realm that you no longer rely on your own limited strength to secure your future. Look at the open door standing directly before your family. Every ancient seal of poverty and debt over your lineage was shattered in the spiritual realm during our encounter today. But to step fully into that open pasture, you must release the spirit of fear that kept your hands tightly closed for so many painful years. You must act in faith. Place your trust upon my altar right now without hesitation. Release a seed of faith that represents your obedience and your willingness to walk into abundance. Open your hands wide in the quiet of your room. Let go of the tight tension in your fingers and watch how heaven responds to a soul that dares to trust my promise completely. The adversary wants you to believe that giving in faith will leave you empty-handed and vulnerable. He feeds your mind with thoughts of scarcity whenever you feel prompted to honor heaven. But I assure you that every seed sown in obedience becomes a protective wall around your family, securing your future against unexpected storms. This is your moment of divine decision. You can choose to walk back into the old cycle of worrying about tomorrow, or you can step boldly into the covenant of divine provision that I have established for your home today. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead into your future to prepare your harvest. Speak with a firm voice into the quiet atmosphere right now. Say, I am free from the fear of lack. Declare it until every lingering doubt in your mind dissolves completely into my peace. Feel the last chain of financial anxiety falling away from your heart as you step into the freedom of a true child of the kingdom. You walk with an open hand from this day forward. You give with joy and you receive with deep gratitude. And because you chose obedience over fear in this sacred hour, the windows of heaven are unsealed over your dwelling. A continuous stream of favor and provision will bless you and your children after you. The covenant is established in your spirit. The seed of faith is planted in holy soil. And now, my beloved one, quiet your breathing as we prepare to seal everything that has been awakened in your heart today, so that you may enter into the deep resting peace that belongs to the victorious. And now, my beloved child, close your physical eyes for a quiet moment and draw a slow, deep breath. Feel the stillness of my presence filling every corner of the room around you. The heavy storm that battered your mind for months has quieted down. The fierce winds have ceased their howling. A deep, unshakable peace is settling gently over your soul today. The long chapter of exhausting struggle and silent tears is officially closed behind you. You walked into this sacred encounter carrying a heavy load of confusion and fatigue, but you are walking away wrapped in my favor and armed with divine authority. What I have spoken over your destiny today is permanently recorded in the heavenly archives, and no power on earth can dismantle it. Let us seal this holy covenant together in prayer right now. Father, I place my hands upon this precious child who listened to my voice today. I seal every word of transformation, every broken chain, and every unsealed blessing over their life. Let your holy angels surround their home on every side, forming an impenetrable shield of protection over their mind, their body, and their family. I decree that no weapon formed against their financial peace, their emotional health, or their children shall ever prosper. Let the peace that surpasses all human understanding guard their heart and mind continuously. Wash away every remaining trace of ancient anxiety. Restore their energy completely, and let them rest in the absolute assurance that you are fighting every battle on their behalf. Keep this private revelation quiet in your heart for a season, my child. Do not run out to explain what has transpired in your spirit to people who are still comfortable in the noise of the world. A fragile seed requires time in the quiet earth to take deep root before it produces visible fruit. Let the quiet transformation happen below the surface, where human eyes cannot disrupt it. The world will see the glorious results soon enough. They will notice the new light in your eyes. They will see the unnatural peace on your face and the quiet confidence in your step. They will witness the sudden doors opening for your family and ask how you survived the wilderness. And when they ask, your restored life will serve as a living proof of my unyielding faithfulness. Express your heart's agreement to extend this sacred reach today. Check the pinned comment below to join our faithful remnant, so you may remain anchored in daily divine strength and continue walking in the fullness of your royal inheritance. You are never alone on this journey. My spirit walks beside you every single step of the way, guiding your feet into open pastures. Sleep tonight in deep, undisturbed peace, my precious child. Let your weary muscles relax completely into my care. The battle is no longer yours to fight, for I have taken full command of your situation, and your future is held securely in my hands. Go forth with your head lifted high, knowing that the God who brought you through the furnace is leading you into your breakthrough. Receive this final blessing over your life. Peace be still in your mind. Peace be still in your home. Peace be still in your finances and your family line. The period of waiting is over, and the morning light of your victory has arrived. Go in my strength, walk in my love, and rest in my eternal peace forever. Amen.